Welcome back, everybody, to the Madden 22 Giants franchise rebuild. The series is nearing the end, and we're going to start doing some single-season simulation. Today, we're going through the entirety of this year, unless we make it to the Super Bowl, and then we'll probably watch that game if we do. But it is 2029. The New York Giants have successfully been rebuilt, and in this series, we have won 3 Super Bowl titles in just 5 seasons. This is definitely one of the most successful teams I've ever built, and it's a huge difference when you juxtapose it with the Texans rebuild I did, where we were happy to just win one, and it took a long time to get there. Now, I was wrong about this being the most successful team I've ever had. In my Cardinals franchise rebuild, we actually, before we got to any long-term simulating, we won 5 Super Bowl titles. I was checking out one of the later episodes in that series because a lot of this stuff is just not fresh in my mind, and that series was 3 years ago on Madden 19. But that team actually won 5 Super Bowls all in a row. And the success really happened when we got quarterback J.W. Unger. And I don't remember this as well, but we got him like halfway through the series. So the Cardinals taking off with him is a lot like the Giants in this series after getting Brian Petrovsky. The difference is that happened like right away. We made him our first draft pick of the entire series in 2022. So he's been here basically from the beginning. Anyway, though, we have a full season of simulating to go through. We'll take a look at our top performers, see if we're able to win this division and go on a deep playoff run. And it will, be a little more dramatic, possibly. The simulating definitely varies more in the results. And when you go through an entire season, then you get a few more storylines jammed in there with sudden losses and surprising finishes and injuries. So these single season sims can be a really good time, and these series have often featured them, just not so much in this game or with the Texans, as I've slowed the format down a ton. But the first thing we have to do here is get through the preseason. We'll of course be developing players along the way and seeing how they break out or how their seasons end up going, and Warren Griffith is one of those players I would like to see get a lot of playing time, as I think Juwan Johnson is winding down a little. We went 2-1 in the preseason, and the quarterbacks did not make a lot of mistakes and combined for 7 touchdown passes. I like seeing Bobby Webster here perform well. I want to see him be the RB2, and that's always a little risky when you go lower overall with your RB2 because they'll play a lot in simulating. But I liked what I saw a year ago, and I'm giving him the chance to develop a bit. At receiver, I really want to see Deion Myers do a little bit more, but here in preseason, Antoine Vincent perhaps plays himself onto the roster. He does have some good route running skills, and he led us in receiving yards with a $177. Warren Griffith 13 for 107. Bobby Webster also had 8 catches for 77 yards, so he's definitely holding on to that RB2 role now. And defensively, the starters had a lot of tackles for loss. Patrick Perkins, 3 sacks. So he's in his 2nd year, and we want to see him continue to break out. I kept Dexter Lawrence, which slows down his progress a little bit, but we're trying to win championships, and we had the money to keep around one of our best players. I like for him to be closer to like 350, 400 snaps this year. And depending on how much you enjoy these single season sims, we'll see how many of these I end up doing. So if you like videos like this, and I haven't done many in a while, leave your feedback down below. Please leave a like on the video. That'll let me know you want to see a few more of these before the series is fully wrapped up. Let's check out the injury report now, and Justin Elam is going to miss the start of the year. So he is kind of the 6th offensive lineman and the best backup tackle we have. So I might need to add one player just in case for the start of the year. This might be a little strange, but I am comfortable going into the year with 3 running backs instead of 4. So we will be releasing Enrique Sears. We'll put Mr. Irrelevant, the final draft pick, Andrew Vallejo, on the practice squad. We'll have Malik James joining him, and he's got some interesting skills to go with route running that just needs development. But we'll let the top performers be the 4th and 5th receivers this year. So only 3 running backs and 5 receivers here on the final roster, which is going to leave a lot of extra spots open for defense. I thought about having to make a move at guard, but I think I was prepared here. I think Tim Davis is kind of that typical 6th offensive lineman that can start inside or outside. 6'4", 318. He offers you good strength, so you like him holding up a bit more inside, but he's also like low 70s everything for like pass blocking. So whether it's tackle or guard, I think him filling in is ideal. We're going to make a little trade here with the Chicago Bears, trading Alani Owens, who is a safety, and we have plenty of safety depth, for tackle Michael Clapp, just to give us more offensive line depth. Oh, of course, I'm like, now is the time to do single season sims, and this is when they finally give us the matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, come on. If I were going to be approaching this season normally, they would have given us the Cowboys again or something. I've been waiting for this rematch, man. Here is the team as the season gets underway. We have the rookie, Ty Scruggs, starting now at right guard. I'm really excited to see how he develops. Really solid upgrade there. The offense overall, though, hasn't changed a lot, but I want Warren Griffith to play more than he has in the past. Defensively, not much change here either. I do have the rookie Landry Haskins as that 3rd safety. Don't think he'll get a ton of playing time there, but I don't want to bench Xavier McKinney when he's been as good as he has all series. Front 4 is still loaded, but I do want Patrick Perkins to be that 2nd rush tackle, taking away Lawrence's snaps a little bit, but obviously to develop the younger player. It's the 4th quarter of week 1 against Kansas City, and they were winning this game for most of the day. But it looks like here in the second half, the Giants have taken control of this game and should win by multiple possessions. I had to get into this one just in case it ended up being a close 4th quarter, but the Giants, defending their Super Bowl win, do start the season with a 20-point win over Kansas City. Only 1 touchdown between Petrovsky and Mahomes, which definitely would be the under there. Tavares Towns ran 3 in. Bobby Webster, he's still getting good yards per carry, even with the games actually counting now, and he scores a touchdown. Rashawn Graham goes for 106, and Griffith hauls in 80 yards worth of production. Antoine Vincent 4 for 45. Could there be an injury to Deion Myers? That doesn't appear to be the case. He just ended up getting some catches. Maybe Myers had left partway through the game. But a 1-0 start, and now taking on a Lions team that's certainly come a long way, mainly with their offense. This time we put up 42 points and win it once again. It was close going into the 4th, but it didn't stay that way, with the Giants putting up 566 yards. Petrovsky threw 3 interceptions in this game that we ultimately overcame in the end. Big day rushing again for Tavares Towns with 2 touchdowns and 6.8 yards per carry. Deion Myers is not hurt, and he leads us with 100 yards and the touchdown, but Vincent continues to play. There's no injury either for Jason Weaver. That's a weird situation. And he's 3rd on the depth chart, so could this be a rare situation where we actually have a mid-70s overall running back who can produce? That's been impossible in Madden, for my series especially. It's a small sample size, but even this is impressive compared to what we've seen before. He already has 6 NFL touchdowns on only 63 touches. A 38-10 win. The Giants moved to 3-0 with Brian Petrovsky throwing 2 touchdowns, and Tyler Hunter even got a chance to throw one. Towns goes for 162 this time. And Vincent hauls in a 50-yarder and I believe his first NFL touchdown. I do not know why he continues to outproduce Jason Weaver, but we're putting up points. He's producing. There's nothing to be upset at all about. Wow. Peppers had an interception in this game, and he's not even supposed to play much. Hey, wait a minute. What is this? A team leader considers retirement. Antonio Golson. Wow. So we've been down this road in this series when we had Teron Armstead. The scenario happened twice, and eventually I just said, okay, the story makes sense. The winning isn't convincing him to want to play more, so let him retire. We're going to try to convince him to stay, but now his performance, and actually I think the team performance more so, might impact if he retires or not. But that's going to knock down his ratings a little bit, and losing could cause him to retire. So now we take on Buffalo, a team that we just defeated in the Super Bowl. They're 2-1. Again, 38 points from the Giants. Our least in the first 4 games is 34. And we continue to win. 3 touchdowns for Petrovsky, 337 in the air. And a little less success rushing the football in this game. But remember back to last year, Bills were one of the top run defenses in our league. We had a big day for Warren Griffith. 2 touchdowns on 3 catches for Rashawn Graham. Not quite Randy Moss efficiency, but pretty close. And then Vincent scores again. All right, we have to do a little deep dive, I think, on the Antoine Vincent breakout, because this is really interesting. Vincent is our 5th receiver on the depth chart. He also happens to be our slowest receiver, maybe the least athletic of the 5 on the roster. And through 4 games, he is 3rd in catches, 3rd in yards, and has 2 touchdowns. He's played 154 downs, so he's clearly not playing every snap or anywhere close. He's played less than Deion Myers, who he's outproduced. He is playing more than Jason Weaver. I don't exactly know why he's only played 73 downs. Weaver is supposed to be the number 3 guy in playing time. I don't know if he just keeps getting hurt. Oh, I had Myers here. Okay, it's had him in the slot. It's no longer confusing why Vincent has been playing this well. But do you bother changing it? Here's a development. The 77 overall LA Rams are 3-1 to start the year. Some teams draft quarterbacks when they don't need them. The Rams just decided to bring in Baker Mayfield this year after having literally no one starting a quarterback over a 72 overall. So they brought in Baker Mayfield for a year. You know, Baker doesn't look too bad in the LA uniform. And this team played us the toughest out of any, holding us to 23 points, but still not really producing much offensively. Very little pass production in this game, both quarterbacks under 200 yards. Towns does go for 107, as the run defense really steps up, holding Cam Akers to just 35 yards on the ground. Antoine Vincent, 4 for 64 in this game. Deion Myers, 2 for 36. Golson did get a sack. I'm not sure if that really matters for him wanting to stay. Isaiah Cunningham gets 2 interceptions. That's what I'm talking about. We are 5-0 to start the year, with the number 2 scoring offense and the number 1 scoring defense. Still seems like we are still firmly number 1 in the power rankings. But then we drop our first game of the year. The Cardinals beat us by just 1. And there's our first loss of the season. Kyler Murray throws 2 touchdowns. Petrovsky 2 interceptions. Towns goes over 100. They could not run the ball. And one-dimensionally, they defeated us behind 2 Rondale Moore touchdowns. So there is our first loss on the board. And 2 games in a row now, the offense has actually been slowed down significantly. Let's take a break from the games now to just take a look at what contracts we have to think about beyond this season. Asante Samuel's deal will be up. Azeez Ojulari basically wants the deal he just played on once again. Dexter Lawrence, Chris Basley, Justin Tucker, Xavier McKinney. Then you go to Daquan Byrd, Greedy Williams, Ernest Black. A lot of players here. Now, certainly Ojulari's contract will depend a lot on what Golson does. Like, if he decides to retire right now, keep in mind we just lost 1 game. A losing streak could be bad, and we're taking on the 5-1 Chargers. Well, that could lead to us maybe needing to give him the mega deal. But now we take on the 5-1 Chargers, and they look to be a true formidable foe. We're not familiar with them. So it's the Eli Manning Trade Bowl here in Week 7. I want to take you into the 4th quarter of this game. The Giants lead it by 3 here in the 4th. Remember Saquon Barkley? Yeah, he's on this team, and they look to be one of the new contenders in the AFC. Justin Herbert, the veteran quarterback, hands it to Barkley, and that is a first down as he makes his way to midfield. Guess who else is on this team? Bottom of your screen. That's Calvin Ridley, who was with us for a little while. That catch is made on the outside. And that's Kadarius Toney, the ex-Giant. I forgot about that. Herbert hands to Barkley, trying to get outside. Pass Cunningham, gain of 8. Play fake from Justin Herbert. And time running out. He floats it and found his man inside the 10. That looks like it was going to be trouble. Chargers 6 yards out. They give it to Barkley, and he's taken down at the 3. So we're down to 4.5 to go. 3rd and goal, Chargers down 3. Biggest play of the day right here. Here's Herbert to the end zone. Got it for the touchdown. Could not defend that back line, and the Chargers will take the lead and force us to answer with a touchdown of our own. Jacksonville's 0-6, by the way. What's happening down there? This is Petrovsky. On target for Rashawn Graham, and we need a touchdown basically on this drive. 41 passes to 14 runs, so it hasn't exactly been a balanced day as Towns gets the first. A 4-man rush with 3 minutes to go. Got it away for Graham. Into Charger territory. Antoine Vincent is slot left on 2nd down. Caught by Graham inside the 20. Play fake. Petrovsky's going down as they brought the pressure. Loss of 8 on the play, and that is a huge momentum killer for this drive. A field goal does us no good, so can we get good yards at least on 2nd down? Petrovsky dishes it out. Vincent, he's taken down. 1:38 left to play. Petrovsky sacked again. Merritt at the 33, and we're down to 4th and 25. Oh no, caught. Penalty marker. Probably on us. Oh my, on 4th and 25. Derwin James Oh, the Chargers just always find a way in the fourth quarter, man. It doesn't matter. They always find a way to do this. 1:08 to go. Got it for a couple. We're getting the full Chargers experience here. Unbelievable. 1:02 left to go. Petrovsky, end zone! Got it to Myers, and the Giants take the lead! With 1 minute left to go! Unbelievable! Actually, completely believable. The Chargers had this game. And now it's on Justin Herbert. 55 seconds to go. He's going to look to the air and dump it to Barkley. Gain of 5. 40 seconds to go. They do have all of their timeouts. Herbert in trouble. Throws it away. 33 seconds to go. Incomplete from Herbert. Pressure was there. Let's see if we can end it. 4th and 5. It's already 4th down. Here's Herbert. Incomplete. He threw it into the ground by Barkley. And now their only hope is to use their timeouts to get the ball back with like no time left. And that is not going to happen. The Chargers had it and then gave us the game. We're 6-1. Why don't we upgrade Antoine Vincent for his new role he's been succeeding in this year? Short route running going up 3. This is really coming out of nowhere. Antonio Golson has another message for us, it looks like. I've been feeling a lot better recently. Still not where I'd like to be, but as long as we're winning, it shouldn't take long to get there. Now, what would have happened here without that pass interference on that 4th down? Perhaps we lost some focus after that game, though. We actually had a bye week situation, and I chose the team bonding retreat, which led to an increased morale but lower awareness. And then we lose to the Cowboys and actually just get blown out 31-13. Dak Prescott throws 3 touchdowns, and we have our worst game of the season. That also makes the NFC East a little bit closer. Had they lost, we wouldn't even be thinking about them, but now we have to. Warren Griffith broke his collarbone in the next game. We bounced back in a win over the Washington football team, but Warren Griffith is now going to miss the next 6 weeks with a broken collarbone. Juwan Johnson is the starter once again. Sorry, we had actually bounced back against Seattle, and it took the entire game to get there in the 4th quarter, finally separating and getting 3 touchdowns from Petrovsky, while taking on our former backup, Kyle Meyer, who has been bouncing around the league now, getting random starting opportunities. We also won convincingly over Washington and Carolina in the next game, and the Panthers just cannot handle us. We always blow them out. 151 here for Tavares Towns. 3 touchdowns for Juwan Johnson. 2 more sacks for Antonio Golson as well. 2 picks to Asante Samuel. After defeating the 1-win Eagles, we take on the Cowboys again. A win here could practically wrap up the division. And Antonio Golson is feeling great now, so he is no longer considering retirement, and his skills are back to 100% again. We seriously got swept by Dallas, losing on Monday Night Football at home in a 4th quarter comeback. So once again, the division title is in play as they will take the tiebreaker. Antoine Vincent had a really nice day, but it wasn't enough. Dallas got us again. They still have ground to make up, and we're taking on a team that would be above us right now in the NFC standings. San Francisco, number 1 in scoring defense, number 4 in scoring offense. That's a really big win. and it gets us a step closer to the number 1 seed, owning a tiebreaker over them. We score a safety in this game as well. Who do we think got that? I'm going to say Quandre Holt, probably, as Vincent scores again. 2 sacks for Holt. One could have easily been a safety. And it was Daquan Bird. We finished the season on a 4-game winning streak, ending with a 90 total point game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Over 1,000 yards of offense. This game went to overtime as well. Petrovsky had 3 touchdowns, and there's Jalen Hurts, playing competitively against us again. That's a really good stat line. Tavares Towns scored twice, along with Bobby Webster, who also fumbled in this game. And Jamal Rowland finally had that big game against us. Vincent continues to produce. Graham scores twice. And the regular season is now complete. We ended up with the number 1 offense again, number 2 defense in scoring. And Brian Petrovsky had only been sacked 15 times this year, less than 1 per game. 34 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, and those numbers are very typical for what he does year to year. Tavares Towns ran for 1,600 yards and 22 touchdowns. That's impressive. Bobby Webster did lose a lot of his efficiency here, which is what I expected. The big concern, though, 5 fumbles in a year. Any running back who fumbles 5 times in a year is going to finish in first in that department, outside of quarterbacks who fumble more. Carson Wentz will have you beat there. But Bobby Webster, 5 fumbles, that's a really big concern. Rashawn Graham went for 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns this season. The game will still keep him at star dev, I imagine, despite him nearly topping everything from last year. Antoine Vincent was our second leading receiver, getting those slot snaps that I didn't intend originally, and that took playing time away from Jason Weaver. But we finished with one of the best offenses in the league, and Vincent was producing, so I let him have his chance this year, and I think he did a really good job. That's a lot of production for a guy I expected to be the number 5 receiver, and even when he was even with Myers, he was outproducing him. Obviously, in the slot, the production there tends to be inflated, but that feels more than what Myers was doing a year ago in the same situation. Myers had a fine year, though, 700 plus yards, while Griffith had 600, missing 6 games. Juwan Johnson had 453 and 6 touchdowns. And then Jason Weaver had a very quiet season with just 10 catches, 2 going for scores. We had an outstanding offensive line. I think that it's a very, very strong one. Let's upgrade Ty Scruggs here. He could use like an elbow pad or something, just nothing there outside of the uniform. But that's a solid upgrade for him. We find he has star development, and the ratings look like they're in a really good spot. Defensively, the sack leader this year is Quandre Holt with 21, and then Antonio Golson with 19.5. That means Azeez Ojulari hits free agency coming off a down year in sacks as he's about to turn 30. We'll see what that does. I didn't do any contracts here in season because most of the players were going to be getting older and I wanted to see those deals come down. So it's going to be just one try for every contract that I ultimately want. 3 interceptions leads the team for Springs, Cunningham, and Gresham. Justin Tucker had a solid year. Just 3 total field goals missed, 2 extra points. AJ Cole only punted 40 times. That's the stat I care about. Lamar Jackson is the MVP for the Baltimore Ravens. Justin Herbert came in second. Tavares Towns finished third. James Robinson fourth. Coach of the year is Russ Watson. CMC is Offensive Player of the Year, topping Tavares Towns. Quandre Holt takes Defensive Player of the Year with his career high in sacks. Rookies of the Year, James Shields and Jeff McKnight. Trey Lance was named the best quarterback. San Francisco looks really strong. I think that that would be an interesting NFC Championship matchup. I don't think that we've taken them on in the postseason before. But that is about it here for this part. We still have to check league leaders, though. And Antonio Golson, consider retiring, decided instead to be the best edge rusher instead. Quick look here at the AFC awards. Jalen Ray, Defensive Player of the Year. I assume we'll find out how he won that here in just a moment. But a big season again for Lamar Jackson. I think he's won a couple MVPs in this series. Jordan Love was the leading passer, like we all expected. 5,059 yards. Reggie Barrett, what's his story? 81 overall, 6th season here. And better downfield thrower than short, 27th ranked quarterback. So he gets the chance to start. He's up to an 81 overall now. Throws 35 touchdowns, 18 picks. After being a 4-year backup with the Dolphins. You see a lot of fun storylines like that play out here deep into franchise. Most interceptions this year, John Nails, 25. He doesn't care. He's just throwing the ball to the opposing team over and over again. Leading rusher was CMC. Despite 12 touchdowns, he beat out Tavares Towns for Offensive Player of the Year. Although, I'm sure he caught plenty of touchdowns as well. Mike Spruce led the league in receiving. So Houston's passing game saw a huge boost this year. Oscar Proctor, not familiar with him, but he just had a tremendous season as well. CeeDee Lamb, Jamal Rowland, and Rashawn Graham also were top performers. A lot of players here above 1,200 yards receiving. Really cool to see that. Calvin Ridley had a big season. Okay. Justin Jefferson, how has he done since leaving Minnesota? He signed a big deal with the Ravens. It was for all these high $20 million cap numbers. 1,000 yards a year ago, 1,000 yards this season. Good production, but it more or less blends in with the rest of the league. 14 sacks for Jalen Ray, and that led to him winning a couple awards there. And he did this at age 30, and 14 sacks for him is a sudden career high. He's peaking later in his career. 7 picks for Sergio Coles and Sean Gordon, both with Cincinnati. Darrell Gordon got 5. I was just curious about what he did, and his stats are right there. Great season for him. In the NFC, Marlon Humphrey and Craig McLean had 5. After another successful year for the New York Giants in this franchise, they are the first or the number 1 seed in the NFC, with San Francisco as the 2. Dallas does end up making the playoffs this year, and the Falcons are a new face for us in the playoffs. Meanwhile, Miami was the number 1 seed in the AFC, beating out the Chargers, who were the 2. Kansas City's not even part of it. They just missed going 10-7 and kind of getting unlucky. Our first playoff opponent this year will be Tampa Bay, the team we beat to get to the Super Bowl last season. After the wild card round, wow, number 2 San Francisco's out, number 2 Chargers are out as well. The 7 seeds both move on. In the AFC, it's the 1, 5, 6, 7. So Miami has a decent road to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, we have the 1, 2, 3, 5 seeds remaining. And now for the first time in this series, we will be simulating playoff games up to the Super Bowl. It was close. But we beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 34-31, putting up 500 yards of offense. Brian Petrovsky threw less touchdowns and yards than Daniel Jones. But Tavares Towns had a big game when it mattered the most. Bobby Webster helped out a ton as well. Stephon Becton, 22 yards and a touchdown as our third running back. Christian Kirk had a huge day, but it just wasn't enough. Giants are moving on to the NFC Championship, and they'll be taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Meanwhile, in the AFC, number 1 seed Miami is out, upset by the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the first time we've seen Miami this high in the standings before, but their season now comes to an end. And in the NFC Championship, the Giants are victorious, 35-28 over Atlanta. Close playoff games this season, but once more, the Giants end up in the Super Bowl. Their leading receiver was Pat Stallworth, who has made some big plays in the Super Bowl in this series. And we have a brand new Super Bowl opponent, the Denver Broncos. They finished 8th in scoring offense, 4th in scoring defense. They have a good run defense and a good running game behind Javonte Williams, who ran for 1,300 yards this season. Every Super Bowl we've taken on a unique opponent, and we're 3-1. Here are the Denver Broncos, and I do plan on making this a traditional Super Bowl episode. They have some good talent here on the top of their board. They have Javonte Williams and 2 really good offensive linemen on that left side. Patrick Surtain, he's an elite corner. Jose Felix, an edge rusher. Noah Fant. And the quarterback is DJ Spiegel. So he is now 29 years old, normal development. And he's a decent underneath thrower. Not great downfield. Does he have what it takes against the Giants defense? And can their running game help them out enough to take some pressure off the quarterback? We are going to be finding that out next episode. But I hope you enjoyed the video today. I thought this was a really refreshing recording session. It feels kind of like a throwback to what a lot of these rebuilds used to have, when it was really centered around the team building and not so much watching the games. But everything happened so much faster, so storylines weren't drawn out, and you got to get a little more of instant gratification, I guess, with the whole process. But it is a lot of fun going through a video like this. I'm excited to put it together and see your feedback on it. But we are playing for Super Bowl number 4 in the franchise next time. If you're looking forward to that and you want to see more single season sims like this, again, let me know down below that this is awesome and you want to see more seasons for the Giants before we go with the full long-term sim. But that is going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day.